So I'm just an idiotic, stupid dog, but I didn't know if this was something that was funny, ha ha, or funny like a $3 bill. I didn't know if this was something, funny, ha ha, or funny like old Abe Lincoln's got his head up, Winston Jefferson's Wasu. I didn't know what it meant, so I wasn't trying to figure it out. But it was in the old days when these things would, horrifying things happened. They owned people. It was actual slavery. They procreated together. Like one of the rich slave masters would come up to a beautiful African woman with a beautiful complexion, the smoothness, and this woman, they would tell him, the slave master would send word down, hey, tell her name was Bethel. They named her Bethel. They didn't even know why. Her real name in Africa was something like Wichikakanke. But they called her Bethel, and then they called her Belle. And she became Belle, and the slave master said, hey, you know what? Everyone's going to the fair, and I've got a little bit of a palsy and a little bit of a, what do you call it? A furcando in my knee. I forget what they call it. Like it's like verklempt. My knee doesn't work so good, so tell Belle to get cleaned up really good with rose petals and clean every part of her body, and especially our cooch and everything, so that we can have sex. I'm going to come down there and have sex with her, and that'll be good for everybody. And I'll reward her husband with some gold coins or something. It does, you never can tell. But back in those days, that's the kind of thing that, it was going on, and people thought it was okay, and those things bred down and kept going till today when there's hints of them that where somebody thinks that's okay. It's not okay. You can't just say, I own this person, so I get to go have sex with her because she's so beautiful. And I made eye contact with her. I was like, hey, honey, believe me, we're not getting married, but you and I, we're going to spend some special time together. Believe me, you're going to enjoy it. I have wines, I have marmalades, I have jams. Back in those days, if you didn't even have penicillin, he could say, I've got some mold on some toast, and if you eat it, it'll make you feel better. You might get pregnant or whatever. We might have to figure something out down the long range. You and your husband should enjoy life together, but believe me, tonight, get cleaned up really specially well because we're going to have sex. That was the kind of thing that they were talking about in those times. You can't flash forward to these times and say it's okay, Andrew Tate gets to, whatever he's trying to do. But this is the kind of stuff my producers were coming up to me and saying I should get on. They said I should get on the Callahan kid side. Now they're saying I should get on Andrew Tate's side. See what I mean? It's all a big cabal. It's a conspiracy they're pushing. And these boys ain't Jewish. These are mutts. These are mutt and futs. These boys don't know what end is up. How they got to where they are, I have no idea. Our producers on this program, it's a whatever you say, it's a dream upside down. But they think they know how to build your brand. So they're saying we had to do something with Callahan. We have to do something now with the Andrew Tate boy. So the producer gets up my face and his breath was so stinky. I couldn't tell if it was bourbon, tobacco, or caffeine, or, it was coffee. It was the most disgusting smell of coffee I ever had in my nostrils. The man said, because he talked to him first and then they came to me. I'm like, I'm an idiotic dog. I smell them from down the hallway. The man was saying they're so disgusting. The man came up and whispered. He says, all you got to do is do something with Ramadan. And I looked at him. I said, Ramadan? He says, yeah, Andrew Tate, something with Ramadan. And I said, I don't know, man. I think, Andrew Tate got arrested in Romania. And the man looks at me. He says, God bless, that's right, that's what I meant. He went, sat back down, and he took another nip off his flask. And one of the producers come up, and they said, it's just like Romania. All right? Let me spell it out for you. Andrew Tate, Romania. He can't do what he needs to do in the USA, ... And I was just an idiotic dog. I looked at him. I said, why do you say ... What are you talking about? He says, The producer looks at me. He's like, do you smell my stinky breath? I said, yeah, I smelled it from down the hallway. It's a combination of nicotine, tobacco, caffeine, and bourbon. And he said, yeah, and poontang too, you bitch. I said, go screw yourself. I said, I'll bite you right in your corpus if you want to give me a hard time. He says, ah, shit. He lights up a camel, unfiltered camel. He starts dragging it, blowing all over my coat. I was like, this is going to stink me out for like 3 or 4 days. I won't be able to breathe for 3 or 4 days. And he took a big draw of his camel, and he says, look, it's like this, okay? Andrew Tate, Romania. See what I'm saying? He can't do what he needs to do in the USA, ... I looked at him one last time. I was like, what are you fucking talking about? ... What are you? He says, oh my God. He said, listen, I've already discussed this with the man. The man's on board. You better get your fucking ass on board. We'll find a new dog. We'll give him that collar. I looked at him. I said, it takes quite a few years to get to this point, asshole. And the man, that little bitch, man, he wasn't a dumb man, my master. He was dumb man, the producer. He gulped. I said, we've had a few producers before you, asshole. Hey, this is what I said to the producer. We can fucking go bust. We can get poor. We can fail without you, okay? We can go broke without you. So keep pushing, asshole. That's what I said to him. A dog. He knew right away. You couldn't find a dog like me unless you trained him for a few years. This guy, he's not sticking around for nothing. He's not a long-term builder. He came in. So I looked at him. I was like, listen, I'll either bite your kneecap, I'll bite your ankle, or you come on over here. We'll figure it out. We'll figure it out together. And he scooped right in because that's what producers do. Producers have no corpuscles, they have no scruples, and they have no scaranto. He reached in, he said, look, it's like this, you think that Andrew Callahan thing, you didn't do a take on that, it's the next chance. Do a Andrew Tate thing. That Andrew, he's just trying to do what he needs to do to push the envelope, but he's got to be in Romania because you can't get by with that shit no more in the US of A. It's like the US of A cleaned their act up, and I'm like, I'm a dog. I know they cleaned it up. It was like in 1842 they cleaned it up, and maybe before that, but in 1840 something they started saying, women are people, this, that, the other thing. They were getting 20 years away from saying black people are human people. They were getting closer, you know what I'm saying? So no, it wasn't a thing where you could do it Andrew Tate. No one thinks that because in the old days they were more rugged, or more in the USA, what all Andrew's doing running brothels. They ran brothels all up and down the railroads, it doesn't matter. It's okay. So, finally the man, he stepped away, the producer kind of hunkered in next to me, says, listen, this is what I need you to do. Just remember these bullet points and just say whatever you want to say. So I looked at him, I said, okay, what is it? He took a big drag of his camel, and he looked like he was going to put it out right in my eyeball. I backed up, and I was getting ready to bite his ass, and he said, I'm just kidding. He flicked it away, and he lit up a Samuel, I thought it was, a Salem, a something. It was filled with hydroglycerine or something disgusting, menthol. It was a green Salem cigarette. It was disgusting. It was like a cool cigarette. He started huffing and puffing on that thing. I almost vomited. I said, make it quick, my friend. And he said, okay. Andrew Tate is trying to do what he needed to do in Romania, but they busted him because he pissed the wrong people off. It's equal to what Dana White's trying to do by having his slap fest, fangando, a fricudi kind of thing where they slap each other in Romania. Hey, Dana, they've already been slapping people. You're globbing on. You're trying to, back off. You're trying to make something of a molehill. Leave the original slappers alone to do the original slapping. Don't get involved with high-octane slapping, Dana. You don't have to make it the USFL of slapping. But, Dana, you never can tell what Dana's going to do. He might have, staged the whole thing between him and his wife where they had a lot of cussing and swearing and hoopla. And then they hoorah at the bar, and they were bitch slapping each other back and forth. Dana's such a badass. Dana's like Joe Rogan. Joe, listen, I've seen you when you were on news radio. You were a dweebus then. You could be a roll around big time guy today. Maybe if I catch you with one good shot behind your ear, you go to sleep. Dana, your wife, she slapped you. It was staggering. You couldn't slap her back and set her down, get some respect. She was ready to rip your eyes out, Dana. One of your slaps didn't matter. You're a puss. Dana, you're a bitch slapless, canando. Dana's a fool. Whatever, it didn't matter. It may have been staged. I don't know if it was all staged. But, so when I said all that, the producer came up and said, that ain't enough, you asshole. I said, what are you talking about? So you gotta give more. You're not pushing the envelope. You're not. It's not nothing. It's not whatever you would say befouled. You have to do something that's a little bit more uproarious. And I was like, what the? I can't. And he pushed some notes in front of me. I'm like, I can't read this shit. I was squinting. I was like, I can't. I tried to listen to the words. Those guys are doing what you used to be able to do in the good old. In good old America. And now they need to go to Romania. And the producer said, you can't read it out like that, you imbecile. Everybody knows. Nah, you can't read it. You have to, you internalize it. I said, dogs don't really read and internalize and then say stuff that good, that fluid. You would probably have to edit. And the producer's like, no, this is a one-take situation. It's an Andrew Tate, Dana White, slapping things going on situation. If you can't handle that, maybe we'll get another talking dog. And I said, the collar goes with me, asshole. Plus, it'd take you 5 years. He pulled out a gun. I thought he was going to shoot his own self in his knee or his foot. He didn't point at me, but it was a threat towards me, but he was pointing at himself. I said, all right, I'm sorry. Jeez, don't get so excited. God almighty, this producer, I get, whatever. It's like this is like, not the Art Garfunkel, but the, whatever, not the Tony and Arnaz. It's not the, it's the G. Gordon Liddy. This is the G. Gordon Liddy of producers. I said, I'll try again. And he said, do it like you're not, try to do it like you're not rehearsing it. Try to do it like you're not, try to do it like it's coming to you naturally or organically, so to speak. I said, all right, geez, these guys are doing, what you used to be able to do. Like if you wanted to bitch slap some women or have a string of Peloponnes, you could have a string of polar ponies, you could have a string of hoes. You could be a pimp, you could make your living in the old days, not that far or long ago old days. But Romania are still in the old days of America time. America time, Romania is still like Dodge City. So you could still have a string of Peloponnes or you could have a string of hoes. It didn't matter. But Andrew Tate, what he was doing, and the thing that not Dana Carvey, Dana White, and he probably staged the whole thing with his wife, but it doesn't matter. These things they're doing, it's just Wild West time. It's like, you got to go to Romania to do it. You used to be able to do it in America. America cleaned it up. Does that make it right? Does it make it wrong? Yeah, it was always wrong. It was wrong. That's why America cleaned it up. God bless America. They cleaned it up. Romania got to catch up. You were ahead way in the old days, back in Europe times. Now you're behind. It's horrible. Romania, catch up. Be nice. Be cool. Believe me, there's a lot more money to be made in being nice and cool and not evil. Be good. Go the good side. Get away from the evil side. Don't go with the Andrew Tates and the Dana Whites of this world. Go with whoever. The kind of Mother Teresa, the Jesus Christ, possibly, the Mohammeds, the Buddhists, who knows? Me, for my money, if you want to open up some Bazooka Gum and see what Bazooka Joe's got to say, almost exclusively, it's going to be right on hair.